Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So he did it. Mr. My Lumpy Pillow Man shaved his mustache and he snuck into the Democratic National Convention, or he tried to sneak in, I should say. We all also know now that there was another Trump ally who also put on a disguise and tried to blend in with the convention crowd. So more on that in a minute. First, as you see in this screenshot, Lindell shaved off his mustache on camera. He live streamed this. They put it on his Frank TV streaming channel because I guess this is what they consider riveting television. So Lindell headed to the convention. He was wearing a button-down shirt and a hat, so not his usual suit and tie, but he was still immediately recognized. As soon as he hit the door, multiple people called him out over his election denial BS, including this guy I'm going to show you in just a second, who took him to task, Democratic activist Harry Sisson. So for those who don't know him, Sisson is a young guy. He has more than 1.2 million followers on TikTok, and he'll debate anyone about politics, and he knows his stuff. So here's how Lindell's first confrontation went down.
We're actually inside the building.
Mike, I have a question. How did it feel to support a convicted felon?
Hey, look at this, guys. See how they attack here? Look at, they're attacking me on the war room.
A proven sexual abuser. A proven sexual abuser. Convicted felon.
Harry Sisson, have you gotten your vasectomy yet? I think that's what the audience wants to know.
Have you got your vasectomy yet? Did you get your vasectomy? Were you aborted? Did your mom get your kid? I pray for you that your mom did not abort you.
I hope that you don't support a sexual
Listen, somebody figured out who I was, Natalie. So now I think the gig's up. You know why? I think I put my cross on the outside of my shirt. I said, you know what? I'm going to stand up for Jesus no matter where I'm at here.
So yeah, I'm sure it was the cross that gave you away, Lindell. I mean, couldn't be that voice, couldn't be, just you yelling out in the middle of the crowd how you're there with Steve Bannon's war room. And did you catch what he said to Sisson at the end? He asked him, for those of you who couldn't make it out, were you aborted? Did your mom abort you? Real Christian-like behavior, right? Quote unquote. I mean, these people, and if you were wondering about the whole vasectomy thing, initially I thought this was another right-wing conspiracy theory, bunch of BS, right? But I actually looked into it, and what it's centered around, or what they're talking about, is Planned Parenthood was in Chicago. They were offering free services this week. So what they did was they set up a mobile clinic on Monday and Tuesday, and it was near the convention, and they were offering people free vasectomies, abortion pills, and contraception. It wasn't part of the Democratic convention. The Democrats had nothing to do with this, but it was located nearby. And they said, oh, this is, for people who are coming into town, who maybe their states don't allow for these services anymore, we're offering it to people for free. Now, in total, they said that they provided services to only about 20 to 30 people. So, not a lot, but I think it's great. I think it's perfect. And you know what? If Republicans have a problem with it, maybe they should stop taking away women's freedoms, right? I mean, Planned Parenthood never did this before. They've never gone and offered free services like this at a national convention for the Democrats. So, these women-hating, women-controlling Republicans have only themselves to blame. This wouldn't be necessary, but for their actions and Donald Trump's actions taking away people's rights and freedoms. So anyway, back to Looney Lindell. Don't you guys just love how these Christians in name only refuse to answer any questions when they get called out? Sisson asked him very pointed questions, and all Lindell did was get defensive. Lindell has no excuse for why he supports a convicted felon for president, why he supports an adjudicated sexual assaulter who's been accused of sexually harassing and assaulting more than 24 women at this point, and girls, and a girl. So instead, he deflects, he goes on the attack. And this wasn't the only argument that Lindell got into. So Lindell ran into a 12-year-old influencer. His name is Noah DeBarrasso. For those who don't know, DeBarrasso is a fierce Democratic activist, and Lindell was leaning down. He's in Barrasso's face. He's shouting about a whole bunch of election fraud conspiracy BS. So here's a short clip from the confrontation. I can't afford to get slammed with a copyright violation. Unfortunately, I got hit with one yesterday for yesterday's video, so they demonetized my entire video when this happened. So here's a brief example of Lindell's bullying and his gaslighting.
They just found 257,000 votes. This happened last week. A judge ruled in Georgia that are missing from the 2020 election.
Yeah.
This just came out. You're behind. You should.
So your source is Trust Me, bro? That's your source?
The source. It's in your papers in Georgia. You need to read your news.
You haven't given me any last name.
So for those who haven't seen the full video, Lindell claimed that there was a Democrat in Georgia running for office and she received 0 votes. And he said, then the Secretary of State realized, oh, we made a mistake. There was an error, but yet she still lost when they gave her her votes that she was entitled to. What makes this story truly unbelievable is the fact that Lindell says, when he's talking to Noah, that, oh yeah, this Democrat, she's a friend of mine. Really? As if any Democrats would be friends with Lindell. I mean, I don't think he has a lot of friends in general, but yeah, Democrat, no. And then when Noah asked him, well, what's her last name? Or what's her name, he asked, Lindell said, quote, Brenda, I'm not telling you her last name. Why? Why? Why is it a secret? She wanted to be a public official. He said she ran for office, right? Now her name is a secret? It makes absolutely no sense. So Noah rightfully called him out on this, and he said, you won't give me the last name. You just want me to take your word for it. And then, of course, he starts rambling on about other things and never actually addresses that, because that's what gaslighters do. They don't have an answer, and so they just gaslight you, and they start filibustering and bringing up other things, and then you're on to another topic, and you never get back to it. And of course, MAGA doesn't care. They don't care to know the truth. They're never going to press Lindell. They're never going to ask him for proof or for this person's name. They want to believe that the election was stolen. They don't want to know that their loser is a loser. So this just gives them cover to say, oh, see, he's not a loser. He just got the election stolen from him. It's not that he's a total idiot and a moron and, So anyway, as for Lindell's claim that 257,000 votes were missing from the Georgia election, okay, so that is BS as well. First of all, Lindell said it was in the news in Georgia. I'm subscribed to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I am a paying subscriber to that news outlet. If there was any news about votes being thrown out in Georgia, the Atlanta, Georgia constitutional newspaper would report it. It would be in there. So it is another MAGA lie. If you go Google, 257,000 missing votes or 257,000 votes, Georgia, any variation of those phrases, there is no reporting. I tried. I looked for it to see if there's something I missed. Not even close. Nothing like what Lindell was barking about. So anyway, full of shit as always. And we all now know that Lindell wasn't the only Trump humper who snuck into the DNC. So Bulwark reporter Joe Perticone spotted the MAGA sexist, disgusting Daily Wire writer Joe Walsh. He was dressed in a Harris t-shirt and hat. He had on a long-haired wig. Like Perticone said, oh, I guess this is what he thinks a liberal would look like, like in his fairy tale version of what a liberal is. So Perticone wrote, quote, I asked him if he was Matt Walsh. No, I'm not, he said, after a wide-eyed look. When I followed up with, I know it's you, he replied, that man is dead. I'm a new man now. I mean, who knows? Maybe we should make fun of him, right? Maybe Walsh is a sovereign citizen. I just shared with you guys what they believe. You know, maybe the old him is dead. Who are we to judge? Maybe Matt Walsh is now a liberal. Maybe he's decided to switch over. Anyway, so yeah, there's a report. I don't know if you guys saw it. Some maggots made an appearance at a nearby hotel, not maggots spelled MAGATS, but the actual little white critters. Now, evidently, there were two women who hid in the bathroom of a hotel. A bunch of the Democratic delegates were staying there. These people ran out. They threw maggots and possibly some other bugs on the breakfast buffet. This happened at the Fairmont Chicago Hotel. This was at 6:45 a.m. today. The servers had already put out the food for the hotel guests. This was specifically, though, this breakfast was for the delegates, the DNC delegates. So one witness said that she or he saw crickets on the table. So I'm not sure if it was just crickets, just maggots, if it was both. But Law and Crime News outlet reported that one of the victims was treated on the scene. So I don't know what the details are there, if they ate the food before they realized what was going on. But it sounds like the hotel handled everything perfectly. They sanitized the area. They brought out new food. Now, I feel bad for the staff, you know, having to deal with this kind of lunacy, having to do their job twice. But no arrests have been made yet. My first thought was, oh, it must be Trump supporters, right? Trying to mess with the DNC. Now I'm hearing that maybe it was some, pro-Palestine people doing this. Apparently they did something similar when Netanyahu was in town. Here's the thing, guys. I'm on their side. I 100% believe we should not be funding this war in Israel, killing children and babies in the tens of thousands. Total innocent people. Go after the terrorists, do whatever you want to them. I could care less. But when it comes to innocent civilians, especially children and babies, no, I'm out. But things like this, stunts like this, will not help the cause. So I don't know if it was provocateurs and they're trying to get people to blame the pro-Palestinian people. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put it past MAGA to do something like this and try to pin it on the left. They did that before with the BLM protests. So I don't know at this point who is to blame. But again, I wouldn't put it past MAGA because they're very peanut butter and jealous right now, right? I mean, they have all the has-beens. They've got Kid Rock, Chachi, right? We have Oprah. Hashtag sad in all caps. That's what that is for them. And they know it. I mean, their convention blew. It blew chunks. And the Democratic convention, I have never been interested in a convention before. This one was awesome. I have to say, it was so much fun just to watch some of the stuff that I have watched. And, again, bringing in Oprah, John Legend. There's, maybe news about Beyonce performing tonight. We'll see. But yeah, it's so clear where the energy is. And, the Republican National Convention was a snooze fest. All about one guy with a, freaking maxi pad on his ear. And then all the idiots that were supporting him that had even bigger maxi pads on their ears. So anyway, all right. I will let you know when I hear more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.